Hi, I am Aarti Krishnan. I am a consulting editor with Business Line. At a recent industry event, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman told people not to expect any spectacular announcements in the upcoming budget because it will only be a vote on account. This took a lot of excitement out of the event for media folks like us and other commentators. What is a vote on account? Article 266 of the Constitution of India says that all the receipts, revenues and loans taken by the central government have to go into a fund called Consolidated Fund of India. Similarly, all the expenses incurred by the government have to go out of this fund only. No government can make any expenditure out of this fund without the approval of the Parliament through an appropriations bill. So, every year what happens is the ruling government has to present an annual financial statement to the Parliament which details the expenses and receipts of the previous year and also gives projections for the next year. Different ministries also chip in with demands for grants, which is the amount that they need to implement their project schemes and other things for the coming year. Along with this, there is an appropriations bill which actually authorizes the government to draw money for all these expenses. So, this is presented along with the union budget statement. Usually, appropriations bill, demand for grants and the budget are valid only for a single financial year and therefore they lose effect from March 31st of the next year. Now, during years when general elections are held, usually the process of calling for elections, holding the elections and announcing the results takes 2 or 3 months extra. So, usually if the financial year ends by March 31st, all of this is completed by May or June. So, there is a 2 or 3 month gap before the outgoing government completes its work and the new government is sworn in. During this period, the government needs money to spend. In order to authorize this, it has to take up a vote on account with the Parliament authorizing expenditure for this 2 or 3 month period. So, the vote on account is simply a temporary grant of money to the central government to help it to continue operations smoothly until elections are over and a new government comes in. So, how is a vote on account different from a budget? A vote on account is first of all for a very short period of 2 or 3 months. Secondly, it contains only the expenses for that period and there will be nothing about the receipts or revenues. And thirdly, there can be no policy announcements or tax law changes at all in the vote on account. Now, if the outgoing government chooses, it can choose to present an interim budget along with the vote on account. An interim budget can have some policy announcements and tax changes and it can also detail the receipts and expenditure for the entire coming fiscal year. But whether it is a vote on account or interim budget, there can be no major tax SOPs or policy announcements which can actually influence voters, as this would be completely against the Election Commission rules.